at the Movies with Tim Sika. Hello, Tim.
Hello, Kim. The first one on our list, which opens in theaters today, is a movie called Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I love the title, right? Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. And this is an ambitious satire. It's kind of a messy satire on AI. And the title is sort of employed as a kind of mantra as to how we might consider living and staying sane in our current world of rapidly evolving technology, in a world like of social media saturation, cell phones, TikTok, scrolling on our phones from one thing to another, our limited attention spans, all that stuff. So anyway, this is stylishly directed by Gore Verbinski, and the plot has Sam Rockwell, actor Sam Rockwell, playing this man from the future with a message that, hey, he's saying, look around, social media has robbed us all of our dignity. It's turning us into children. And hey, the world is ending before our eyes and nobody seems to be doing anything about it. They're just kind of like letting it happen. And so he plays this man from the future who shows up at this diner in Los Angeles wanting to recruit the precise combination of disgruntled patrons to join him on this one-night quest to save the world from the ever encroaching influence and reality of artificial intelligence. Okay, so this is a contemporary satire basically, and Sam Rockwell acts up a storm. That kind of is what he looks like in the movie. He plays this self-proclaimed man from the future who, without context, if you saw this guy in the street, you would normally he would just be seen as a ranting, crazy homeless person on the streets. He also kind of resembles Jesus Christ at times. I don't know if that was deliberate, though. In place of a crown of thorns are these wires, which resemble the wires used to connect computers. Anyway, yeah. What else can I say about this movie? Its strength is in its direction, its stylish direction. The script is kind of a mess. In a way, you can say that this is like two movies. One, the journey of these diner patrons, going along with this guy to save the planet, and two, a series of vignettes to lend context to a number of these patrons' backgrounds. I mean, for one, we learned that one of the characters has lost a son in a school shooting. Who's given the option by the government to have her son cloned. Another pair of characters are high school teachers who find it increasingly difficult to actually teach, as teachers today are in a lot of ways, being held hostage by the students and lack of support from parents and just the system in general. And another character loses her boyfriend to virtual reality, and that, without saying too much, all these vignettes in the film's attempts to sort of devastatingly target the culture and how desensitized social media has made us and how worse it's going to get when AI really takes hold. These are the best things, excuse me, about this movie. The rest, mostly consisting of this journey of this group of people led by this man from the future, go on. It's just a mess. The film is clearly anti-AI, or I guess more specifically, anti-self-awareness, meaning the script fully admits AI is inevitable, but it clearly serves as more of a warning to all of us that if we don't wake up and begin to seriously pay attention to the ramifications of these technological tools that are becoming more and more accessible to all of us, we will in effect be doomed as a society. Nothing new here, but it's just another example in film where this message is kind of worthy of another kind of like crazy off the rails presentation. So I guess to sum up, I think the film has some good sequences, it has some good ideas, and anybody that's interested in this kind of sci-fi satire comedy may and probably should check it out. But for me, I don't know, the storytelling was really subpar and the film was just an overall disappointment despite its obvious merits. So, and it's a long one too, at 2 hours and 14 minutes. And in moments really felt like 2 hours and 14.
No.
So I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to, I'm trying to presence it in a way that if any of what I said sounds interesting, people might want to check it out. I just thought, well, I've kind of seen a lot of this already in many other movies, and
See, I don't mind a long movie as long as you don't realize it, because good movies,
Yes.
like you could be 4 hours
Yes.
later and you're like, I kind of have to pee, but other than that, I wouldn't have even realized how long I'd been sitting here because I'm carried away.
Really, if you get if it's that good to where you really lose the sense of time, right? You're just
Right.
so involved in the story, then hey, it could be 5 hours for all I care.
Right.
But no, this one, I mean, I think I checked my watch 5 times, maybe.
Oh, what a bummer.
Yeah. Anyway, that's Good Luck. Have fun. Don't die.
And don't go.
And don't go. Yes. Good luck. Have fun. Don't die. And don't go. Yeah. I love
that
one.
The next one is Shelter with what?
Yeah.
Jason Statham?
Jason Statham. Yeah. Okay. So just turn off your brain and go on and fully commit to this action thriller ride. It's the best way to preface talking about Shelter, provided, of course, that you have absolutely nothing better to do, right? Because Shelter is one of those movies.
Okay.
And pulsating, like pulse pounding action thriller is the best way to describe Shelter. It's produced by, and it stars Jason Statham, as you said, who plays this assassin in hiding. He's not just an assassin. A precision instrument is the way he's described in the film. In other words, like, I mean, he can like take out 20 people all by himself.
He's an assassin with a heart.
He's an assassin with the heart, yeah, because he kills them really, really quick. But his character has been in hiding from the British government because they've been trying to hunt him down and eliminate him for something like a decade, because he, as he says later in the movie, he put humanity over blind obedience. He put his conscience first, and then the mission that the government put him on second. So he's a reformed precision instrument assassin. And, you know, we've seen all this before in other movies too. But the government is like, no, you betrayed us. And if we find you, you're going to be instant carry-on for the buzzards. So that's the premise.
Okay.
And another little like plot add-on is that there's a young girl, an innocent girl, who kind of winds up being entangled in this guy's stuff, which obligates him to protect her. So all that's going on in the background while this assassin is fleeing, you know, a government bent on killing him. So, yeah, you know, this is a very tense and violent action thriller with very tense and violent action sequences. Statham, I personally like him as a performer, as an actor. He's made a cottage industry out of playing these kinds of parts.
Yeah.
And he's really great playing them. He's worth, you know, it's worth going to see the movie just for him. This one, if it's successful, it looks like it may become a franchise for the actor, because it kind of ends a little open-ended. But it remains to be seen, you know, how well this movie's going to do at the box office. Now, I could have lived without this movie. It does that thing where it works the audience up to like this fever pitch where you're like sort of getting off on all the violence. And when the badder guys get there, as I say badder, I don't even think that's a word, B-A-D-D-E-R, because good and evil are painted very gray in this movie in terms of character. But when the badder guys get theirs, and of course they all arrive at a very gruesome end, you're going, yes, you know, kill him, which I don't know, on some level I think is unhealthy, but that's just me. But if this is the kind of like adrenaline rush, you know, you seek out a movie for, if this is your jam, then I think you'll really like this movie. It's very entertaining. For me, like I said, I could have lived without it. It starts out boilerplate, then gets somewhat interesting as the plot unfolds, but then it goes back to being boilerplate in every way. I should mention, though, Bill Nighy, the great actor Bill Nighy. He's wonderful to watch here. He plays the head of the organization, the government organization that trained the Jason Statham character to be an assassin. He's great fun to watch. And the movie accomplishes what it sets out to do, which is to entertain via some really tense and lengthy and violent chase and action sequences. So I recommend the film on that level. The only spoiler I will ever divulge when I talk about movies, but the dog dies. And if you're sensitive to that, as I always am, and as so many of my friends and colleagues, I've always told people, I'm going to tell you if the dog dies. It's the one thing about a film's plot that I always feel obligated to divulge. But
I like that, because people need to know that. You know, sometimes it's too much. And so you don't want to go to a movie if that if that's gets you, then don't
Yeah.
see it. Yeah.
And you know, of course, and the dog in this movie is so awesome and registers some of those looks a dog registers that makes you think it might even display flashes of being human. You know, those looks where they look at you and there's just so much in the face. Anyway, yeah. So the dog dies, but I mean, the movie's a really good action thriller. Whatever.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
That is Shelter. Our next movie that you have come with is called Arco.
Yeah, I'm leaving Arco for last. Well, before we talk about our classic movie.
Oh, was there another one?
No. Before we talk about our classic movie recommendation.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. I'm leaving that for last because it's my favorite film of the week. It's destined, I think, to become some sort of minor, I don't know, maybe major animated classic, Arco. It's co-produced by Natalie Portman, the actress, who also plays the titular character's mother in the film. And it's about a 10-year-old boy who lives in the year 2932. A future that's very imaginatively rendered here, and who time travels backwards to 2075, where he meets this young girl for whom he develops an attachment, but then is unable to return home because of a time travel device malfunction or something. So this is a story, really one of those universal stories about wanting to get back to one's home and coming across all these obstacles where you think I'm never gonna get back. So the film is done in, from the poster you can see it's done in a kind of anime style, which at first I thought got in the way of the story a bit. But after I accepted the look of the film, anime has a coldness to it, in my opinion. It's limited animation. Granted that this is the anime style, but said style lacks, say, the fluidity that the Disney animated classics have. And for me, it takes some time to adjust to. But after I accepted the look of the film, it seemed the right fit because it turned out to be this really deeply emotional and story. And possibly had the film been rendered in a more traditional way, it may have played differently, maybe a bit too sugary or too treacly, too sweet. And watching it too, I'm thinking, oh, this would have made a great live action movie with like overtones of E.T. and The Wizard of Oz being very obvious. You know, both those stories are about a character trying to get back home. And the depictions, the animated depictions of both of these futures in which the story takes place, 2075 and 2932, would have made for some great visual live action cinema. But it turns out that these futuristic depictions animated in the anime style here in Arco make for some great animated visual cinema as well, because the animation is colorful, it's imaginative. The story of two futures yet to come, the transiting from one to the other, and their visual sort of contrasting is always fun and awesome to look at. The story's nicely plotted. Another plus the film has going for it is that it's hard to come up, in my mind, it's hard to come up with another movie that utilizes the notion of time travel in quite this way. So this is a story about friendship. It's a story about love and letting go. Content that, for me anyway, is rife for having a cumulative effect that is emotionally powerful. And in terms of content too, there's something also in the film to kind of ponder about, I don't know, the duration of consciousness that we call time, and that the past is gone, the future unknown, and that the present moment is really all we have. So let's, make the most of it. So summarily, I think it's an extraordinary movie, Arco. It's probably the most original of the 5 that have been nominated by the Academy this year, vying for Best Animated Film of the Year. It would really be nice to see this movie winning the Oscar over the highly favored but infinitely inferior K-pop Demon Hunters. I don't know if you've seen that.
I've heard all about it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's, it's okay, but it's really like, I don't know, you forget it the minute it's over. But this movie really resonates with your soul. I loved it. It's a great family picture, and it's one adults will like as well, I think. So
I was going to ask you, is it good for kids? So good.
Oh yeah, wonderful. Yeah,
okay.
Wonderful for kids. It's about it's about a 10-year-old boy and a 10-year-old girl, but it's very sophisticated, and it really deals with, universal themes. So I think anybody could groove on this movie. So I really liked it. It's my favorite film of the week. It's called Arco, and it's now playing in theaters. Yeah.
Okay. The next one is Tim Sika's classic movie recommendation of the week, and that would be
Ta-da! Mr.
Yay!
Smith Goes to Washington. Have you ever seen it?
I actually have seen this one, but it's been a while, and I don't remember a lot of it, so I'm going to have to rewatch it, I think.
Yeah, me too. It's been a while since I've seen it, too. This is a great movie. It's one of several great movies that were released in the year 1939, the year considered to be, the pinnacle of Hollywood. I mean, so many great movies were released that year, like The Wizard of Oz and Gone with the Wind and Wuthering Heights and what else? Stagecoach, the Betty Davis vehicle, Dark Victory, Goodbye, Mr. Chips. Anyway, and among those great films released that year is this week's classic movie recommendation, Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, which is especially timely, Kim. I don't have to tell you this. It's especially timely viewing in light of how far down we in this country have plummeted politics-wise. Anyway, it's directed by Frank Capra, and this is one of his very best films. And creatively, he was at the height of his powers as a filmmaker when he made Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. It stars Jimmy Stewart right there. He's, I think he's filibustering in that scene in a performance that actually made him a bona fide movie star. He's fabulous in this role. He plays this guy named Jefferson Smith, this innocent and naive country bumpkin who was selected by the cynical politicians to replace a recently deceased senator in the belief that he could be manipulated by the state's senior senator, Joseph Payne, who was magnificently played by Claude Rains, who, when I think of it, Claude Rains has never given anything less than an excellent performance in any movie he's ever been in. But anyway, be that as it may, Jefferson Smith, the character that Jimmy Stewart plays, he heads off to Washington. He's full of ideals, and he dreams of working with his idol, Senator Payne, little realizing that he's expected to be a rubber stamp for this crooked scheme to finance a new dam that will profit only Payne and his cronies. So it's the story of political idealism in the face of political corruption. And again, when viewed today, the level of political corruption that's dramatized here compared to the Trump White House is so tame. But the emotional truths dramatized in this movie and the way in which the film functions as a kind of, I don't know, like a guardian of democratic ideals is absolutely timeless. Would that every member of Congress today be forced to sit and watch this movie? I don't know. It might change things in Washington for the better, maybe even for just a moment, or at minimum inflict a pang of conscience on some members of Congress, reminding that these elected officials, reminding them of what they're supposed to be doing as representatives of the people who put them there. Because, where this film, great film, works best, I think, is on the premise that really, what is the Edmund Burke quote, that all that is necessary for evil to triumph is the inaction of good people, as a paraphrase, for people, good men to do nothing. That's, to me, what this movie is really about. And I watched the film again this week. It's been a while, like for you, it's been a while since I've seen it. And I was amazed over how well it held up, how resonant it was, how it was particularly, I'm going to use that word again, resonant, because of what's going on in Washington today. It's really a kind of political, moral masterpiece. It received 11 Oscar nominations in 1939, including Best Picture. It only won a single Oscar for Best Original Story because, the competition was strong that year with Gone with the Wind pretty much sweeping everything in sight. But Mr. Smith Goes to Washington is still a superb, thrilling, absorbing drama. And one, I also think, in my opinion, I think it should be shown in schools, if for no other reason. There's a wonderful scene in this movie between James Stewart and his secretary, played by Jane Arthur, that in very specific and very entertaining detail explains exactly how a law is passed and how Congress works and what it takes, the rigorous effort to make something into law. It's just an amazing scene. I mean, and I saw this movie as a kid, and it got me to go to the library to learn about civics and stuff. So anyway, I love this movie for a number of reasons, but primarily because it's superbly entertaining. And yeah, that's my classic movie recommendation of the week. It's streaming on Tubi, and it's also on Prime Video. So perfect time to watch it, folks. It'll give you hope.
Today is a huge protest day.
Yeah.
And kids at my daughter's school are either not going to school today, or many of them are walking out. And I wonder, do they really know what they're walking out for?
Good question.
They see people getting hurt, right? But do they really understand that their rights are being violated? Do they really understand what it is the Constitution represents to them and what it should mean to them? Do they understand what's happening in Washington? And I feel like maybe if I sit my kid down and have them watch this movie, they'll come away with a little bit better perspective.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, that's the what you showed. That's the scene where she's explaining to him, because he's full of ideals and he thinks like, hey, this makes sense to me. I'm just basically going to walk into Congress and everybody's going to see the reasonableness and the sensibleness or the sensibility of this bill I want to pass, which is going to benefit kids. And she's saying, "No, hey, wait, hold on. It's not that easy." But in that scene and in the process, you learn about, in a nutshell, how a law is passed, and it's great. It's great. But I don't even think, you wonder if the teachers are saying anything. I mean, civics isn't even taught in schools anymore, is it?
It is. As a matter of fact, well, this year, in junior year, Julia's she's taken AP US history. They call it APUSH. And every single day they open up the class talking about current events, and kids get to comment on current events. And then the teacher will relate the current event to something that has happened in American history. And
excellent.
Julia is fascinated by this, and every day she comes home talking about it. Next year, her senior year of high school, can you believe I'll have a senior? She has to take one semester of American government, US government, and one semester of economics. So they're co-classes that if you got to register for both of them in order to graduate from high school.
Yeah. So, well, that's really, really good hearing. And really, that's where the hope lies, I think, in moving forward, are in these young people that are fascinated and really interested in this stuff. Who knows? I mean, yeah. So, wow, I can't believe Julia's going to be a senior. That is so weird. I remember talking to her when she was little on KGO. Remember, there was I had a nice back and forth with her, but I think she was like 9 or 10 or something.
Yeah, I know. She kind of grew up there. And Jacob is 11, and he has big complaints because he didn't get to go nearly as much as she did. And now, of course, it's gone.
Oh, yeah, he didn't. I don't think I've ever talked to Jacob. No. Yeah. Anyway.
It's funny because they both, before we watch a movie, they'll say, "What does Tim Sika think?" They both
that's
know.
Sweet.
Yeah.
That is so sweet. Oh, that is so sweet.
People in the chat haven't seen it. But Teacher Lori says our current officials would only take away the message that there's always been corruption in DC, so they're not so bad.
Yeah, could be.
I'm not sure. Great movie though, says Teacher Lori. Kind of depressing. Oh, she's looking at the West Wing episodes too. Yeah, those are good. Yvonne says, Tim, interesting anime comparison to old time classics. So yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
And Nullifidian says, I don't think I've ever seen anime. Well, this could be your opportunity. Absolutely. I liked Statham in Beekeeper, said Nullifidian.
Oh yeah, me too. Yeah, that was the movie that came out last year. Yeah. Oh, that was another good one. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, yeah, Jason Statham, man. He you don't want to mess with him and the characters that he plays in his movies. You don't want to mess with him.
Yeah. Looking at these comments, Nullifidian is agreeing with you. I don't think civics is taught in high school anymore. Well, it is here. So I don't know. I think that they're working on it. They're doing their best.
Trying to bring it back, I hope.
Eileen says Jimmy Stewart is a national treasure.
Absolutely. Yes, Eileen, absolutely.
Absolutely. Well, Tim Sika, you've done it again. Let's roll through it really quickly.
Oh, geez. Okay.
The cap.
You got the hard work. You got to like sort of synthesize all my wordiness and come up with a summary.
I love it. That's my favorite part.
Okay.
You said of good luck, have fun, don't die. The script is messy. The messages are good. The film really is a warning against AI. And then it has some good ideas, but for you, the storytelling was subpar. It was a disappointment. It is too long. It is not recommended by Tim Sika. Shelter is the latest offering from Jason Statham. You said this is a turn off your brain and take in the action thriller kind of movie. It's a pulse pounder. He's an assassin in hiding being hunted, but you said this movie is violent, that you could have really done without this movie. The violence maybe was a little over the top, especially the sad animal part. But you said if this is your jam, if you like the adrenaline rush of a thriller, then you'll probably like this movie. You said it's entertaining. Just know that it's boilerplate, but it does what it sets out to do. And for that reason, you recommend Shelter. But your favorite movie of the week was Arco. You said this one's going to become an animated classic, that anime really works with this movie and with this story. It's about friendship and love and letting go. And you said that Arco is an extraordinary movie. The most you said it's the most original of the movies nominated for Best Animated Oscar this year. You're hoping it will win. You said Arco resonates with your soul, and it's a great family movie. So we should all go see Arco. And your classic movie recommendation of the week from 1939 is Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. You said this is a movie about political idealism and corruption that is super timely. You want every member of Congress to see this movie, and you want it shown in all the classrooms. You said this movie is resonant. It holds up well. It's a political, moral masterpiece. It had 11 Oscar nominations. It only won for Best Original Story, but it is superb. And you said it's streaming on Tubi, which I think is free, right?
Yeah, Tubi is free. I think there's commercial breaks, but it's free. So, I mean, hey, why not?
It's the old time way of having bathroom breaks and being able to do a load of laundry without hitting pause. So that's
right, or going to get a sandwich or going to relieve your business in the bathroom. Yeah,
exactly. Tim Sika, you're super awesome, and I hope you have a really good weekend.
Oh, you too, Kim. And I'll talk to you next week. I'm looking forward to it.
At the Movies with Tim Sika. Bye, Tim.
Bye, Kim.
Bye-bye. At the Movies with Tim Sika happens every Friday, 1:30 p.m. Pacific here on the After Party Live.